Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your girl, Lily Expressions. Topic for today is National Siblings Day. That is the day that is today, and I would like to take a moment to give a special shout out to my brother and my sister. Now, I have this kind of weird relationship with my brother and sister, per se. I'll start from the beginning. Now, my mother and father were young when they had me, so they were still in the process of, not living at home and moving on with their lives, as young adults. So my mother's and father's relationship was weird. My father served in the Navy, and things happened, and I wound up living with my father's mother, and that's who raised me the majority of my life. Of course, my father came when he could, and we are still tight to this day. Fortunately, my grandmother has passed in '08, so I just had like this weird childhood. So I was raised, by my grandmother, and, of course, she has her older friends. And so I did not have the luxury of, having, a brother or sister, to play with, to fight with, or what have you. I would hear vague stories about, there's other people, that I have them, but, it never was put in more in depth, because as you're younger, you hear half of the story, but you clearly don't understand because you're still young. And, so I would say about 2.5 years ago, I was at home and I was on Facebook, goofing off, and I received a message from a woman, and she asked, is this your father's name? And, kind of weirded out because it's like almost midnight, I'm goofing off, with my boyfriend, and we started getting into this deep conversation, and, like, a red light went off, and I was like, hold up. And I had to call my father and, explain what's going on. And it just turned into like this weird, great experience at the same time. Now, I met my sister probably a little over 2 years ago, followed by my brother. Now, my brother and sister are twins, so we all share the same father, but obviously we don't share the same mother. So it was weird, to hear from somebody that obviously knew a little bit about you, but you knew very little to nothing about them. So it was very much of a weird experience. So when I actually met them, I remember to say, like it was yesterday, I just had like a horrible day at work. Customers were being assholes, and like my friend, took me home, and next thing you know, I see everybody in my room, and then I'm like, oh my god, and like it just turned into like this weird emotional day. Now, unfortunately, my sister lives very far away. She lives in Alabama or Texas. It depends. She has, friends and family down there. So, like, I don't see her as often. I probably seen her about a few times from the few years, due to our distance and, our lives or what have you. And it's a very emotional, thing. The things you think about when you meet somebody that you haven't seen ever, is like, why does this happen now? What would have happened if we were growing up? Oh, could you imagine all the stuff we could have done together, all the things we could have bonded together? But you kind of got to take, where you left off. So it was a very weird experience. So, like, my brother is, the younger version of my dad, and I'm the female version of my dad. And, we're very outspoken, and sometimes we're assholes, and, and we're very blunt to what we say, and we try to do our best in everything we do. And then you got my sister, who is probably the softer version of, of myself. So it's very weird. So, like, my youngest has a similar thing with her sister, due to finances and things like that. My my two girls who fortunately don't live together. So around holidays, that's when they see each other. When they have time off of school, that's when they see each other. So they have this bond that they have, that I wish I had with my sister when I was younger. So I'm grateful for that. And of course, she misses her sister. She's still very young. She's 7 and she's 12. So there's a lot of things going on, and so it's kind of weird when, you see somebody all these years, and it's your sister or your brother or your aunt or what have you, in any type of relationship. So I'm just like flabbergasted. I'm like, oh, I have someone that's kind of like me, but, it kind of sucks we didn't grow up and play outside and, talk about people on the way, and hang out together and have, those petty fights and makeups, but, it's better than nothing. So, like I said, I don't want to sit here and spend, the majority of the time, thinking about all the stuff that I could have done, and I still have that moment now. So, fortunately, we still don't live it close like I would like to. That way I could sit there and harass her as much as I can. But there's still Facebook and emojis that I could still send on her wall all over the place. So that also goes for my brother too. My brother likes to travel, and he's a guy, he's gonna do his own thing. We're all in our 20s, and when you're in your 20s, it's your time to explore and do you. So if you have that great bond with your brother and sister, I applaud you. My brother and sister, we have a bond, but it's not as close as I would want it to be, for the simple fact that we haven't grown up together. But there's still time and we can still do it. So I just want to take this time out again to shout out my brother and sister, and also take the time, out of your day. I know it's Friday, everybody's going to turn up and go out or what have you, but take that time to let your brother and sister know how much you love them and everything. And I know my grandmother is in heaven looking down and seeing, the progress of, what I've done throughout my life, and, smiling and knowing that things are better than what some of our family, assume. So at least I have someone watching over me and seeing what's going on. So again, give your brother or sister a shout out, even if you hate their ass. Just say, hey, what's up? And just leave it at that. Because time is so limited, especially now with all these psychos and everything you see in the news, everybody dying every day of just the most stupidest shit. So just give your brother or sister a big hug. And I'm just giving you guys a shout out. Happy Siblings Day. There's somebody out there that's just like you, or kind of like you, twins. And I could imagine, if I was a twin, because my brother and sister are twins. If I had a twin, kind of be like sister. I don't know. But anyway, this is Lily, and I'm out.
Nah, come on.